Radio. It's Kickstart. My name's Gardy. I'm going to kick this on the FM. I have future Dr. Molly here in studio with Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. Feel free to share this out. Ask some questions. We're going to have some fun. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it's 9:01 on a Tuesday, and I have a guest that's hanging out in studio. I'm going to let her introduce herself. We're going to find out what she has going on. Hey, how you doing?
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good. I'm great. I'm Molly Urick from Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, and summer has begun.
It is.
So exciting. I just got out of school, finished my finals last week for the semester. One more semester to go, and then I'll be done with my bachelor's.
So what's the plan after that?
Chiropractic college. Then I'll head over to chiropractic college, hopefully continue doing nutrition with Living Well, but then I'll be able to add that tool of chiropractic into my practice.
Yes. At what point did you know that that's the path you wanted to take, chiropractic college?
You know, it's actually really funny. I was an athlete all through high school, as I've kind of shared before. Competitive basketball, competitive volleyball player all through high school. And I really felt called to be a chiropractor when I was 15. Mm-hmm. I'd never seen a chiropractor before. I didn't know what they did, but I really felt God telling me, you're going to go to chiropractic college. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to chiropractic college.
Yeah.
And so I started kind of looking for an internship or something so I could, figure out what the heck this is. And when I was 18, I started working for Living Well and fell in love with the whole thing. That's just amazing. So it's been such a blessing.
So whenever you realized what it entailed, did you have that relief like, wow, yes, this is right. It feels right. Or was there ever any moment like, nah,
well, it's kind of funny because when I was 18, I had a lot of health issues and huge inflammation, huge fatigue. And Dr. Chapa laid me down on the bed, the chiropractic bed table, and was like, all right, I'm going to really show you what chiropractic can do. You're an athlete. You're young. You're going to adjust amazing, and you're going to fall in love with chiropractic. It's going to be awesome. Well, I didn't move. Nothing moved. Neck didn't move. Back didn't move. Hips didn't move. Nothing moved because I was so incredibly inflamed. So it took about 3 months of nutrition work before I began adjusting. And it's been 4 or 5 years, 22. Yeah, 4 years. And I'm just now consistently adjusting well. Right?
Okay.
So years of work of nutrition so that I can receive the chiropractic.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I love chiropractic. It's so powerful, but nutrition is an undeniable component.
Mm-hmm. And it kind of shows, I guess everybody's different. Every case is going to be different,
absolutely, right? Absolutely, because there's patients who come in and they receive those chiropractic miracles, right? Like one adjustment and their pain went from a 10 down to a 2. That's awesome. That's amazing. But, some people need those months, years of nutrition work before.
Yes. Okay, so going back to something that we talked about a little bit before the show. So I had on my Al Garza Premier Martial Arts shirt, and y'all were at that event, the health and safety fair that they had this last weekend. I couldn't make it, but I was there last year. But you couldn't make it because you were busy doing stuff. So can you talk about that? I guess that layer of what you do.
We were repped by Greg Mitchell, one of our associates. He's super awesome. I could not make it. I was seeing clients and patients every Saturday and every Monday. I see patients at Living Well, just helping people get better without drugs and surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Super awesome.
How's that been going for you?
I absolutely love it. It's amazing. I didn't know how rewarding, how amazing, how frustrating, how just it's truly. I've grown as a person. I've grown as a patient, and I've obviously grown as a clinician by having these one-on-one conversations with all different types of people, all different types of cases, and really figuring out the puzzle of not only like what's the right thing to do, but how can I help you change your own life, right? Because when you start messing with people's food and people's lifestyle, it's really personal. It's really intimate. Yeah. Like you gotta really trust who you're talking to when you're asking for life and food advice, right? Because food like enters your body, right? So that it's pretty personal, right? So trying to help people figure out how to view food as tools and as like how can I use food to better my life, right? So it's really fun. It's really cool.
Yes, it is. So this morning I shared with you as well before we went on air that I went to go pick up some sugar-filled lumps of dough, and we were delivering them to a client and a way to say thank you. And so that's automatically what comes into my mind, because Dr. Chapa has been saying that for years. And I'm like, is this the right thing we should be blessing these people with? Said, we're going to bring you a gift. We're giving you sugar lumps of dough. But
okay, well, so kind of speaking to that, kind of transitioning, if you think that any one of us at Living Well, and I might get in trouble for this, if you think that any one of us at Living Well has never had a cheat meal since beginning our health journeys, you are wrong. I'm so sorry. If you think
what?
No,
I'm just kidding.
Right? How old am I? I'm 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you think that I never go to Chinatown and have ramen, you are wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
But the thing about, and kind of this is really important getting into summer and vacationing. The way I kind of go about that is I ask myself a lot of questions before like committing to something, right? Because so my case, I deal with chronic fatigue, chronic pain, right? Like 22 years old, really? That's like...
Can you define chronic real quick? What does that mean?
Yeah, so chronic... So technically, if you were looking at a textbook, chronic just means more than 6 months. But when you're dealing with an illness, like acute pain is I sprained my ankle, right? Chronic pain is I sprained my ankle and it still hasn't healed after 6 months. Like, bruh, that's a long time, right? So that's kind of what I was dealing with in high school is like I would get injured and then the injury would not heal after the off season, after the next season. So I had like these ridiculous ankle braces that were actually splints, right, on both.
Yeah.
So I had to like get the really horrible shoes that would actually go around the split. It was bad, right? So knowing that that's kind of where crap food gets me, I have to really ask myself some questions before I decide to go have a cheat meal, right? And those questions are, is it worth it, right? What are the consequences of eating this food, right? Because dairy does something different to me than like sugar does, right? Dairy, I get like nasal congestion. I might kind of get mucusy in my throat and stuff. But sugar, automatic pain. Like, so is it worth it? And then what can I do to kind of offset those symptoms, right? So when I decide I'm going to have a cheat meal, right? I make a plan. I ask myself those questions. I make a plan, and then I stick to the plan, right? So if my plan, so let me tell you a story. So last summer, my family and I went to go see my grandma and grandpa. It was the last time I saw my grandma before she passed away, so it was really memorable. We spent a whole week in Branson, Missouri, which if you've never been to Branson, so much fun, so much stuff to do. Eagle cover bands everywhere. Like what
Sounds
more
awesome.
could
Sounds
you
great.
ask for?
Right.
So, and I said, okay, I'm going to Branson. I will be getting frozen custard from Andy's, right? And I will be having I'm going to go to a restaurant and just blow it, right? So I planned those two cheats, right? But the thing is I stuck to them. So we were in an Airbnb or a VRBO or something, and my mom and I cooked the whole week. We cooked exactly what we knew we can eat. We cooked for like our family and my aunt's family, right? So there's like eight or nine of us, I don't know. And we cooked breakfast, lunch, dinner, the whole week, except I planned that one day during those weeks I was going to go to a restaurant and totally blow it. And then another day I was going to go get frozen custard at Andy's, right? So knowing that, sticking to that plan, I then, followed those cheats with my tools, right? So I don't ever go anywhere without my tools. So digestive enzymes, stomach acid support to help digest those proteins or whatever I may not normally eat, enzymes to help, offset dairy and sugar and stuff, and then B vitamins to help your metabolism recover from like a wave of sugar. So super awesome. So, I mean,
Yeah.
like, yeah, have fun, right? I'm 22. I get to be 22, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I also have information that I'm responsible for. And so once you have knowledge, you then have the responsibility to apply that knowledge.
Dr. Chapa is watching on social media. Good morning, Dr. Chapa.
Good morning, Chop.
He said, I also ask what events coming up that I can't afford to feel bad for.
Oh, true story.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
It's
In
like
what
my
context?
graduation. Yeah, my graduation's coming up right
Right.
now, or I'm going on vacation. I
Right,
need to eat
or
right
like
for it.
the day before I'm seeing patients
Mm-hmm.
is off limits. Like,
Okay.
absolutely not. I need to be on my A game. They deserve to have me at my best, right?
Right.
Like, it's off limits. So Friday nights and Sunday nights, not happening, right?
Yeah. I could see, like, if you get down on dairy and, like, ice cream before, and then the next day you're just like, oh, I'm so congested, and you're trying
right.
to treat.
And that's no way fair to my patients, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I have that responsibility because I have the information, I have the wisdom, and I'm responsible to implement that.
Yes. So how do you have the maturity to be able to do that? You know, there's me, myself, I'm a lot older than you, and there's people that are a lot older than me that will not be able to do that, right? You say, like,
What do
I
you
know
mean
this.
able to do that?
Like to have that self-control and willpower.
Oh, well, I think you just have to ask what you want. Like, what do I want?
The ice cream. I'm just kidding. I don't really eat
Good
too
Lord.
much ice cream. But
No,
that's
so
a
fun.
hypothetical
Well,
answer.
I mean, honestly, people are willing to do what they want to do most.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if what I want to do most is indulge in sugar, then I'm going to do it. Right. But if what I want most, and again, asking that question, good question, Chop, what's coming up that I have to be prepared for? If what I want most is for my patients to get good information from me, then it's just going to trump. It's just your
Right.
priorities are aligned with what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you can bring in sin nature to that. You can bring in all kinds of stuff, right? But ultimately, it's just, what do you want? And so what do you want, and how are you going to get what you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what would you do for a Klondike bar, right?
Right.
I'm going to go to the store and get a Klondike bar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do I want? I want my patients to see, or I want to kill it on leg day at the gym, right? Well, you're not going to do that by indulging in garbage. Or I want to study and be good for this test, right? Well, you're not going to do that by, I'm in college, right? And seeing kids week before finals on Red Bulls and hot Cheetos grieves me, right?
Right.
Because they're never more stressed than the week before finals. They're never more sick than the week before finals, right? So their stress is high. So if your stress rises, your nutrient demand also rises, okay? And this is something a lot of people just don't know, right? Because when you're stressed, you just want to eat whatever, right? If your stress rises, your demand for nutrients also rise to meet that stress, because your body has to adapt. Like, it has to adapt. You adapt or you die. There's two options, okay? So all stress are opportunities to adapt, and an opportunity is a must, okay? So it's not like you have the option, right? So in order to adapt, you have to have the nutrients to meet that stress load, right? And so as these college kids' stress levels are rising, they should be eating, dare I say it, broccoli and kale. Yeah, this is where you gag, right? But if you ingest hot Cheetos and energy drinks the week of finals, you're going to get sick and your brain's not going to work, right? And
Makes
then you
sense.
wonder why you can't remember anything you studied for hours and hours and hours. Not to mention your sleep's in the tank.
You know, talking about hours and hours, I saw this on Instagram. It was a reel, and I don't know how factually true it is, but it makes sense to me, right?
Yeah,
They were giving a hypothetical scenario where there was a student studying for finals, 6 hours. They studied for 6 hours straight,
my gosh.
drinking energy drinks and or whatever, right, to make it go. But then they said the other option is to study about 40, 50 minutes, as much as you can, take a 10-minute break, listen to music, do something to clear your mind, something that makes you happy. Go outside, go sprint, 10 minutes, and then get back. And it was saying that the productivity of that studying would be so much better than just trying to power through the 6 hours, because you'd be going like this.
Right.
Just down.
And Geez. And maybe I'm not the person to talk to. I can't cram. Studying for 6 hours at a time, I'll get distracted. I'll get bored. I might fall asleep. Like, it's just not happening, right? So the day of I had all my finals on the same day. Brilliant. Don't know how that happened. But so the day of my finals, so when I have a test, I usually dress up. Like, I want to look my best. But this time I was like, you know what? I don't care. That's fine. I don't care. So I wore shorts and a t-shirt, and I had a final at 8 a.m., finished it. And then I was on my way to my next final. I had about 45 minutes in between. And I saw a friend of mine come up with a spike ball, a net and the spike ball. And he was like, Molly, do you want to play? I'm like,
I got time.
Yep.
Nothing else going on, right?
So it's freaking hot outside. It's like 90 degrees outside. And we're playing spike ball for 30 minutes, right? And so that's what I did. And I killed the next test because my stress was like, I smelled gross and I was sweaty beyond belief because I was playing spike ball. But like, why wouldn't we do that? You know, why wouldn't we go outside for a walk or play spike ball for 30 minutes between tests, right? Like, we just get so trapped in our heads, and when we're nutrient depleted, it's really hard to get out of that stress mindset. Like, everything is urgent, everything is important, and you can't delegate anything.
Right.
So
how important is it for people to have that release? I mean, there's probably people listening and watching that aren't in school or finished that portion, but they're moms and dads.
Right, yeah. How many, if you have at least one kid, dude.
You might as well have 10.
If
you have one, you might as well have 10.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I don't have kids. I'm not married, so sorry. But like, of course you need that release. And what better way to teach your kids than to have that release with them, right? Go to the beach, for heaven's sake. If you're homeschool, go to the beach now before public school gets out. Your time is ticking, right? But so that release is super important, but I don't know that you'll get as much out of that physical stress release unless you have the nutrients to also heal your stress response.
And I will say this, because sometimes I have 3 kids and I have a 4th on the way. So we're loaded. We're, it's exciting. We're happy about it. But sometimes to go somewhere like the beach, I'll let myself get more stressed trying to de-stress, right?
Right. And that's a cascade you can get into, especially when you're nutrient deficient, right? And the way Americans live is, okay, and you've heard Chapa talk about the tiger, right? Running from a tiger. And so the way we would be living, right? Even at the beginning of, pioneer days, right? Maybe it wasn't tiger, maybe it was a bear, right? But you are chased by the bear, and then either the bear dies or you get away and you can rest, right? Okay, and then you get chased by a tiger and then you rest, right? And then you can eat and whatever else. Americans, they've become best friends with the tiger, and not in a good way.
Right.
It's always on their tail. They're always running to something, running away from something. And so that stress response never has a chance to just rest. And you never have so the taking your kids to the beach may seem like a stressor, right? And it kind of is, but we have tools. You don't have to go empty-handed. We have tools, right? You know of adaptocrine, right? Which adaptocrine are those adaptogenic herbs where if you're running hot, they kind of cool you down. But if you're low and you're sluggish and you're just exhausted, they pull you up. So they just help you adapt to the ebbs and flows of life. And so there's way more. We have we know that vitamin C is the vitamin C complex is the nutrient, the vitamin for the adrenal glands, right? And since your adrenal glands are responsible for the way you adapt to stress or the way you adapt to anything, how important is getting a good quality vitamin C? So just think, you don't have to go to the beach empty-handed, right?
Yes, and mainly the goal is to keep the kids alive.
That's true. We want to keep the kids, but in order to keep the kids alive, you have to be alive.
I have to be alive, right. and calm, cool, and collected.
Calm,
I feel
cool,
like that's
and collected.
Something Dr. Chapa would say.
Oh, my basketball coach used to say that. It's like, Molly, you just need to be calm, cool, and collected on the court, and you'll do great, right? So
did that ever happen?
I was a bit of a hothead. On the court, opponents did not like me. Refs laughed at me. It was like I had my moments.
Yeah.
But speaking of the beach, like, what I don't know. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell by my complexion. I'm German Irish.
You got a little sun. It looks like
I got a little sun. I've had about 2 hours of sun every day since Friday, since I got off of school. Duh. And my rule is, so I'm allergic to sunscreen. So even if I weren't holistically minded, I've never been able to use sunscreen. So I've just always taken my bits in the sun like 25, 30 minutes at a time, right? Because burnt like a lobster, right? And
God has a funny way of
right?
saying he loves you sometimes, right?
So funny. Yeah. So on one hand, I've never really had sunscreen, right? So I don't have to deal with the additives, the weird chemicals, right? But on the other hand, burnt, right? So what I usually do for sunburn prevention, right, is I take a ton of calcium lactate before going out in the sun, about 2 hours before, and a ton of Cataplex F, which is essential fatty acid. So the way calcium works is we take calcium and then it kind of has to go through a few processes to be usable by the body, but it has to be delivered into tissues, so like into the skin, into muscles, whatever, with essential fatty acids. Okay, so you can take a whole bunch of calcium, but if you don't have enough essential fatty acids to like get it into the tissues, it's not gonna work. Like you'll still get the muscle cramps.
So what's the essential fatty acid you would take to help?
So either Omega Force or Cataplex F, which is a tablet from Standard Process. Either really. So I did really good on Friday, really good on Sunday, really good on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That comes after
That's
Saturday,
important
right? Day. And I spent like 2 hours in the sun, swimming, no sunburn. Yesterday I got lazy. I got complacent. And when you are a very pasty, almost translucent German Irish gal, you can't get complacent.
You took a supplement cheat day.
I did, and I should not have. I should not have, because the gym was a little rough this morning, So calcium, again, isn't just important to prevent sunburns. As you can see, my face, my shoulders are like super red. The gym was hard this morning.
Really?
We had a leg day. And you anatomy, physiology people, high schoolers, college people may know this. The mineral that's required for muscle contraction and relaxation.
I like relaxation.
We'll keep it.
It works.
Is calcium.
I'm going to write that down.
Write it down. RELAXION. All right.
I'm throwing a C in there.
Oh,
CHION, relaxation.
CHION. Perfect. So in order for the muscle to contract, you have to have calcium. In order for it to relax, you have to have calcium. And so if we take this sunburn as like a little red flag that my calcium tanks are out, how do you think contracting and relaxing muscles was in the gym this morning? Near tears. It was a little, and I love leg day. Like my legs are strong. This morning they were not strong. I was huffing and puffing, and it was a little rough.
Yeah, leg day at the gym is like you're going to break a sweat. Like some of the other days, like the muscle days, I worked out yesterday and I did some like shoulders and some stuff like that. And it's like, hey, I feel good. Like I'm just going to come to work and I'll be fine. Like, to be honest. Yeah, awesome. that happened. Right.
Yeah.
But like leg day, it's like, I got to go shower.
Leg day is like there's a puddle around you. Right. You don't know if it's sweat or tears. It could be both. We don't know, but we worked hard. Right. And we feel good. And, but it was hard this morning. And it wasn't until halfway through the workout, I was like, oh, I have a sunburn. My calcium tanks are empty. Like I came without my tools. Shame on me. What the heck?
Yes.
Bad.
Here's a couple comments that I want to read from Dr. Chapa, and there was a question, and Dr. Chapa is watching, and that's a huge benefit because he just answered it. We don't have to. So the first thing Dr. Chapa said is, what do you want your life to look like when you have built it, which is something you have to think about whenever you're planning and making priorities, which is awesome. And then he said the bitter pill of truth is that we are more in control of our health than we realize or
sure.
even want to maybe believe. And then there was another a question that came up, and they were asking about a cleanse or something to do for arthritis, and Dr. Chapa answered that. So if you're going through this, I definitely want to share this information. He said, Hi, Susie. Our 10-day inflammation detox is designed to decrease arthritis-like inflammation. Can you talk? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a couple 10-day detoxes. One is okay. Let me preface this. Detox is always liver work. Liver is the
giver.
Yay! Got it. 1 for 1. So all detox work starts with the liver, starts with good bowel motility. If your bowels aren't moving, your liver can't groove.
Do don't move, do don't groove.
Right. Liver grooves.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great combo. But we do focus on what the individual needs, right? So everybody needs liver help. Your liver's responsible for processing all toxins that enter the body and getting them out, right? If you can't use it, you have to lose it, right? But so we have a blood sugar detox, which is for those who kind of, maybe you have a diabetes diagnosis, maybe you have, low blood sugar episodes. You can't go a couple hours without eating. Like, you should be able to go a couple hours without eating, right?
Right.
But our other detox, our other 10-day is an inflammation detox, and it really focuses on the joint health and getting those toxins out of the joints and relieving pressure off the joints so that you can, move, groove, feel better.
Yeah.
Move better. And it's really, because, you've heard Chapa say this 1,000 times. Arthrongus is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Arthrongus is toxin accumulation in the joints, right? If you can't get rid of it, you got to store it.
Right.
Right. And where better to store, apparently,
than the joints.
Right. They're just good little pockets.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it is to protect you. So it's not bad joints, right? They're doing their job. Unfortunately, because your gut and your liver aren't working optimally, we got to store the toxins.
Yeah.
Right.
And then something like that, like arthritis or being in pain, will allow you to not be able to go have that de-stressing moment or go play with the grandkids
Right.
or the kids. And then it becomes an issue of,
Right.
I can't de-stress, I got stress, I'm in pain.
Right. Okay. And so another thing about chronic pain, chronic pain and chronic stuff. Yeah, that's my jam, right? Chronic pain. So what your body does when there's inflammation or pain is it's your adrenals secrete a hormone called cortisol to help go deal with that inflammation and kind of put out those fires. Well, extra cortisol also has to be processed by the liver, right? So when there's pain long-term or sickness long-term, whatever, that's inflammation, right? And so we have to secrete that cortisol to go put out the fires. Well, if cortisol is secreted, it can induce more inflammation long-term, right? So cortisol is also a hormone that we use when we're talking about emotional stress, right? So I'm super stressed. Well, your cortisol might be high. Or I'm having a hard time going to sleep at night. Well, your evening cortisol might be too high. So cortisol keeps you awake. It keeps you kind of active, keeps you going. So when you wake up, your cortisol is supposed to be high, and then it kind of dips during the day, and then you can go to sleep, and then it comes back up. Well, chronically high cortisol, because there's chronic inflammation, right? So your cortisol is up here all the time, inducing more inflammation because you can't get good rest and all these other things, right? Well, who's responsible for clearing that cortisol? Liver is responsible for clearing that cortisol.
Of course he is. Yeah.
Freaking liver. Well, we gotta love our liver, right? So that's what those detoxes do. Especially those 10 days are so easy, and it's just 10 days of your life. Set aside the junk. Commit to eating. All it is eating real food, and the inflammation. And Chop, you can correct me on this. The inflammation detox, we do SP cleanse, so we support the liver. We do either boswellia or turmeric forte to really decrease the inflammation in the joints. Black currant seed oil is really important for a few things. It's really important for endocrine health, but also is an essential fatty acid that decreases inflammation. So again, it's just a really easy way to spend 10 days, get ready for a vacation, do it coming off of vacation, to just reset.
Yeah.
And get on the right track.
Chapa will say it's a vacation from fake food. You're taking a vacation from fake food, and you're treating your body to a vacation of things that it needs.
Right. Take away the stressors. Just take away the stressors and give your body 10 days to just reset.
Yeah. And it's not really that long, but honestly, in 10 days you can make a big impact.
Oh yeah. And you know, I have a lot of my patients are moms, and a lot of my patients are teachers, because I see patients on Saturdays, right? So it's really hard to get into the clinic when you're at school from like 7 o'clock to 6 o'clock, right? You know? And what we do is, what I did with one of my patients, she's amazing. She's a high school teacher. She works so hard, but her weekdays are very regimented. It's the same thing every day, right? So it's easy to eat better. It's easy to take her supplements. And weekends, she has a family, you know, everything goes out the window, right? So where we started is we did a 10-day detox 5 days at a time. So we spread it through 2 weeks, and Monday through Friday she did one, and I said, just take your normal supplements on the weekends. It's okay. We'll get there. And then finish it the next 5 days. So, I mean, it's super cool. And there's no, of course there's a best way to do it, but I don't think if you're following the food and you're eating real food and you're taking the supplements, I don't think there's necessarily a wrong way to do it, right?
Yes.
And we can work up to doing 10 days at a time. It's okay.
Here's a comment. This is from Dr. Chapa. He said, 10-day inflammation detox, reset, vacation from fake food, treat your body with rich, life-giving food. It is amazing what just 10 days will do.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like the vacation from fake food part.
Yeah.
Because it's so much of what we do is mental. Like even like eating, like I need to eat that. It's all up here. And so if you reframe it like it's a vacation,
right,
not like I'm on a diet, you know?
Oh, yeah. And mentality is, I mean, it's half of it. Easy. Half of the game is where are you at mentally, right? And at Living Well, we really focus on the whole person, right? Where are you spiritually and emotionally? Where are you structurally? Do you need a chiropractic? Where are you biochemically? And the cool thing is we can enter any of those doors and still make a difference, right? So the wording and the way we think about food, which is why honestly, vacations aren't super appealing to me. Like I'm just one of those people who want to go all the time, right? So when you want to help me with my mindset, or some other type A person who's nuts, I need to view my food as a tool, right? But this person over here who really needs that fun, relaxing, they're motivated by relaxing, they're motivated by peace, they're motivated by, how can I get to rest, right? Using the language of, well, a vacation from food, that would really speak to them. So that's another way that we can, help you view food as what you need it to be.
It's a tool.
Yeah.
2 days ago, my daughter, I was trying to get her to go to bed, and she's in pre-K 4. And she was like, I don't want to have to go to school. I was like, well, you don't have to go. You get to go to school.
Aww.
Think about all the,
how
this is
that
exciting.
Work for you?
And not quite as well. So we're still working on that. But my wife just started laughing at me. I'm like, don't laugh. This can maybe work.
This is serious.
This may be able to work. Okay, here's another comment. This is from Andrea. She said, I'm starting the 10-day blood sugar detox next week with 4 kids and all their birthdays back to back. I'm ready to detox.
Holy cow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Good job, Andrea. Look at you.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And Dr. Chapa, he had said you're going to love how you feel after the 10-day blood sugar detox. 42 days a year, spread it out over the year. Yep. That's the end goal, even if it's a 5-day burst, just like you were mentioning.
Yep. So, 42 days, get it done however you need to do it. You know? And with being a mom of 4 kids, I'm sure there's no stress. With birthdays back to back, right? No stress. Just birthdays everywhere, children everywhere. It's fine.
Yeah. Andrea, I want to hear, what are some things that you do, I guess, tips from parenting, and this is stuff for me personally, but to be able to de-stress or kind of take that time to make sure the kids have fun in the summer, but also still keep them alive and stuff like that.
So while we're waiting for Andrew to respond, what I started doing with my patients is I need you to get really good at assessing where you are stress-wise, right? If you don't realize that your hair's falling out and you're like you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, we have a problem. You just need to know that you are doing that, right? So when you and I really hate the word stress because it looks differently for everybody, right? My default emotion is anger. Like I'm a hothead, right?
I'm never stressed. I'm just angry.
Right,
Always angry.
Right. So if you say, "Where's your stress level?" I'm like, I'm angry, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Or some people get overwhelmed. Some people get panicky, right? Some people just shut down, right? So really identify what stress looks like for you. So how do you respond to stressful situations, Guardian?
How do I respond to
panic?
stressful? I don't know if I panic. I think I try and assess the situation. And this is something that I always try and do. I always try to evaluate it from a bigger perspective.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I try.
I know, right? We try. What does that mean? So get really good at like, what do you look like when your input of stressors is so high, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say patient X panics, right? So I want you to identify when you're panicking, and I want you to scale your panic on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay? Where is it? That's step 2. Where is your panic on a scale of 1 to 10? If it's above a 6, then we need to change our space somehow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just change the space. The body always wants to adapt, but you need to give it a safe way to adapt where you're not panicking or angry or whatever. Blowing up. No blowing up. It's not acceptable, right?
Yeah. I'm not a hothead. I know that for sure.
Oh, you don't really seem a hot. Like,
I'm not. I mean, I can get mad, but I'm not like, that's not my go-to.
Right? When we change our space, that can look like walking, right? That can look like taking adaptogen and Nevaton. Please do that, right? That can look like getting oil beach,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that weekly rest we're supposed to have turns into weekly stress, right? Getting kids up to go to church, it's like a zoo for everyone I know.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Right.
So you need to assess. You need to first know what you do when you're stressed out. Like what's your default, right? Then you need to assess where you are, and then you need to figure out how you're going to change your space. And that may look different every time. You can't always go take a walk. You don't always have your oils with you. You should always have your oils with you. But you don't always have your oils with you, right? Taking your shoes off at your desk, right? Rolling your wrists. Like I think Chapa's kind of
See a wrist roller?
Yeah. Well, it's a technique, right?
Oh, okay.
So it's a technique to send neurological adaptation to your extremities, right?
Can you do it? So what does this do? Roll your wrists, or what are you doing? What's the technique?
Just roll your wrists 10 times this way, 10 times the other way, 10 times this way. You can do the same thing with your ankles, and it makes you count. It sends neurological adaptations to the ends of your limbs, right? So it takes actual neurological focus off what's stressing you out, and it's really cool.
My wrists feel different. That's probably not.
Feel different?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like left says different.
Yes,
right?
left versus right. They are rolling different. Like this one doesn't have as much is it dexterity or flexibility or something? And we'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, that one popped. There you go. That feels better. So yeah, just having those tools, whether that's the oils and all that stuff. And I will ask you this: so if you are in class and you pop out some oils and start putting them on, do people ever look at you funny? And
Absolutely.
Do you care?
Oh, I don't care. And I sit at the front, or I won't pay attention.
And you like, I'm putting on my oils now.
Right.
Like, just get everybody's attention. Like, no big deal. Handling stress.
No. Yeah.
You should try it.
Honestly, I do, and I'll. You kind of have to be careful with that, but I will. People will be like, "What do you have?" I'm like, "Need some?" Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Please take it. Please take it. I don't need you stressed out. So it's fun. It's fun. But summer's fun. Summer's fun. And what do you have? Do you have anything planned this summer?
Let's see. Work. But work is fun.
Oh, great.
I get to talk to Dr. Chapa on Tuesdays.
Oh, I'm jealous.
That's my plan. And we have a lot of fun live stream events and stuff like that going on with KHEA, and we're excited about it.
Well, I know now that, the mask mandates are lifted, and a lot of the other things a lot of restrictions are lifted. I know people are like looking forward to the road trips
Right.
and the plane trips and, vacationing.
Oh, airports now.
Right?
Yeah.
Airports.
I was thinking about bringing
Ugh.
masks back as like a fashion statement, you know?
I'm going to let that one go. I'm not even going to reply to that one.
I'm gonna get like a living well branded mask.
I do not condone
I like
that
your shirt.
message.
Yeah, Chapa would be like,
Absolutely
no,
not.
that is not
That's
allowed.
not happening. Not happening.
Just think about it. Okay.
I thought about it. It's
No.
gone. It's gone.
Yeah. So what's something that you want to do this summer?
Well, I'm going camping next week.
Okay.
I'm going
Is it in
camping.
Texas?
Yeah, it's going to Texas. I actually don't remember where I'm camping.
Are you like a glamper or are you
No.
a camper?
I like backpacking. I like tent camping. I like cooking from a fire.
Yeah.
I love it. I like hunting. I like fishing. Like I love being outside.
And so whenever you are trying to plan for something like that where you don't have, all the, I guess, technology or the kitchen stuff available, I mean, you can take your stuff, but how do you plan for that to make sure that you're on your A game, supplement-wise, and just being prepared with tools?
Sure. So anytime I travel, but especially like camping or I guess, anytime. It doesn't really matter. I always ask myself, well, what could happen, right? What are the possible things that can happen? Your bowels could slow down. You could get into food you don't normally get into. Someone could get sick, right? I'm going camping with a family of 5, right? So someone, and like her kids are young, right? So someone's probably...
Odds are someone's getting sick.
Someone's getting sick, right?
Yeah.
What if you can't sleep? What if you get sunburned? Been there, done that one. So I ask myself those questions, and then I answer those questions. Well, if my bowels slow down, then somebody will get sick, right? Because if the bowels slow down and the liver can't process toxins, then you're just going to circulate, right? So intestinal cleanse 1, always, or Colax or super aloe, aloe force, whatever your clinician recommends. But intestinal cleanse 1 is my go-to just in case something slows down that shouldn't slow down, right? Anytime you're in a car for a long time, you're not moving as much, you're probably not drinking as much water as you should, bowels are probably going to slow down, right? So just stay ahead of it. Sometimes you're up a creek and you don't have intestinal cleanse 1.
Like a literal creek, right? You're saying like
sure.
camping? Okay.
Well, even if you're just vacationing, right, and you don't have intestinal cleanse 1 or Colax or whatever, Smooth Move tea is a good tool to have. It's I don't remember who it's made by. It's an herbal tea that helps with bowel motility. A massager to massage the large intestine and get those muscles contracting again. AF beta food, always AF beta food. When in doubt, support that liver, support those bowels. But what if someone gets sick, right? Someone gets car sick, someone, starts running a fever, and when you're traveling with little kids, someone's going to get sick, right? Congaplex, always Congaplex.
And these are things you're traveling with.
Yeah. Either I usually have like a little lunchbox, like a tiny little tackle box, and I'll put all the emergency stuff in there.
Okay.
Yeah. Before I leave, I'll put my daily stuff in a like a tackle box, like dose them out, so I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Because if I have to think about it, they're probably not going to get taken, right? So I just already put the doses out, or in baggies. Baggies work fine. And then that way I just have to take them in the morning, evening, lunch.
So you have your dailies, and then you have, this is the
and
emergency.
I have an emergency kit. I have a tool chest. So Congaplex always. INF Fighter. INF Fighter is really easy to do in the car and just pass it around. Yeah. Just pass it around. Same with chamomile marshmallow, car sickness. Chamomile marshmallow. Chapa talks about it all the time, but chamomile marshmallow might be one of my favorite supplements ever.
For the name alone.
Pretty much, right? That's the only reason, right? No, but when I get anytime I get I don't know, it's like my miracle little liquid, right? So anytime you're nauseous, anytime you have any bowel anything, right? Whether it's loose bowels, whether it's a little bit of constipation, chamomile marshmallow just kind of settles things down. So on one hand, it builds your mucous membranes in the digestive tract and kind of puts out fires along the way. But it is also a nerve calmer. So if I have a headache from stress or something like that, it really just kind of cools down my nerves and the headache kind of dissipates, right? So it's a like a little Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And it's really mellow. The taste of it is really mellow as far as, or should I say mallow? Was the marshmallow? As far as herbs go, so kids can take it straight without too much kickback, and it's another good thing to pass around the car to prevent car sickness, right?
Yeah.
Lots of water is important. And backpacking, I have like a little water filter that I just, can go to a stream, and
that's cool.
yeah, it's super cool. But water is important, and it's really easy to get behind in water when you're traveling, because you're in a car or you're in a plane and you have to like ask for water. It's just not. But water's so important. That's how the bowels get dry and slow. And how another way you can get sunburned is forgetting your water, right? And then Coral Legend. It's a little harder to take in the car because it's powder. But Coral Legend or calcium lactate, again, so important for muscle contraction, right? Important to keep your skin not burned, right? But the other thing it does, or another thing it does, these aren't the only 3 things it does. Another thing calcium does is it kind of arms your immune cells to fight infection, right? So it's like to go without calcium is to like go send your army with no guns.
It's not a good idea. Right, yeah.
It's not a good idea, right? And you can kind of hear I'm kind of congested today because my calcium is in the tank, right? So to go without calcium, again, is to like just send your army without its tanks and its firearms. So
yeah. I'm still hung up on you drinking with the filter out of the stream. That's pretty cool.
Berkey makes one. I don't have the Berkey one. I have one. Oh, I don't remember. Camelback may be the one I have. I don't remember. I'll send it to you.
So it's like a cup that you drink out of with the filter built into it, or you just run it through?
I carry, because the way backpacking works is you want to have as little weight as possible. So it's like a collapsible silicone like type bottle, and I scoop it and then I pour it into my other bottles.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool.
Do you fish?
Not religiously. Again, I'm one of those people who like get easily bored.
I can see you getting angry.
Where are the fish?
Bite the bait.
No, it's a good. I like going out to fish, but like lake fishing is not my favorite.
Okay.
Like
on the boat, because there's action.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be action there for sure.
Yeah.
You push somebody in the water or something.
Right.
We're getting something
ever
off this
push
boat.
anybody in the water. Watch out, Chapa.
Yeah. So we've been having fun and talking about summer, planning for life. We talked a little bit about school and finals, the beach, the sun, camping, planning, relaxation, whatever the word was.
I don't even remember what I said. Relaxation? Yeah.
Relaxation.
Maybe it's just real action.
Relaxation.
Except that's antagonistic, so that wouldn't work.
I don't know.
Action or relaxing?
Using big words. These college words.
Oh.
I don't know.
That cracks me up.
Yeah.
Cracks me up. So we're really excited for summer. If you ever have questions, feel free to contact our office. Like, hey, we're going on a road trip. What's the toolbox, right?
Yeah.
Feel free to call our office, Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, 815 East Main Street, soon to be 322 East Main Street.
How soon?
Do
we know?
We are by the end of the summer. We'll be in there.
Really?
We're so excited.
That's awesome.
We are so excited.
It's not that far from the other office, but it is like closer for me to get there.
Right. You don't have to go over the train tracks.
I don't have to go over the train tracks.
You don't have to go over the train tracks.
It's awesome.
I don't have to go over the train tracks either. I'm super excited. But 281-554-8600. Come see us.
Are you going to have some more classes like at the current facility?
It's going to be awesome.
But like,
I can't wait.
Is there things coming up before y'all move into the new one, or is it kind of wound down for the summer?
We're rebooting our classes, right? So we're revamping it. We're going to change the way we're doing a bunch of stuff. We have the room to change the way we're doing a bunch of stuff. And it's really just to better educate our people, right?
Yeah.
So I'm super excited. There's a lot of things in the works. you're not even gonna recognize it. It's gonna be so awesome.
Wow.
So awesome.
I mean, I've heard some of the things that are going to be happening there, and I think that it's just going to be like maybe world changing.
That's the goal. That is our goal.
Yeah.
Change the world one bite at a time. One bite at a time.
Is there anything else you want to share?
Just have a good summer. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. Shoot us an email, info@justlivewell.com. Call us at 281-554-8600.
What about next week? Are you going to come hang out again before you start chiropractic college?
We'll see.
Future Dr. Molly?
Oh, oof. We'll see. Possibly.
And are you at least going to like jump on the live streams whenever Dr. Chapa's here and maybe share the stream or...
Ouch, dang. Like he told me he was going to grill me. Jeez. Yeah, sure. I'll do it in the middle of class. I'll do it in the middle of class. Monsieur, why are you on your phone? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry.
Don't worry about it.
Cool.
Yeah, herbs. Well, thanks for having me, Gardy. I had fun.
Thank you for hanging out.
Awesome.
Appreciate you. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM.